Good morning. Let's continue with the chapter Principles of Biotechnology. Now, in continuation with that, today we are starting with the topic Tools of Recombinant DNA Technology. We know that genetic engineering or recombinant DNA technology is accomplished only if we have key tools. Now, these tools are restriction enzymes, polymerase enzymes, ligases, vectors, and the host organism. Let us try to understand the whole process. Restriction enzymes. Now in 1963, the two enzymes responsible for restricting the growth of bacteriophage in Escherichia coli, they were isolated, and one of these added methyl group to the DNA while the other cut the DNA, and the latter was called as restriction endonuclease. The first restriction endonuclease, that is HIND2, whose functioning depends on the specific DNA nucleotide sequence, was isolated and characterized 5 years later. It was found that HIND2 always cut DNA molecule at a particular point by recognizing a specific sequence of 6 base pairs, like here shown in the picture. Now these specific base sequences is known as recognition sequences. So this is the recognition sequence where they can recognize the site. Now these recognition sequence for HIND2. Now besides this, today we know more than 900 restriction enzymes that have been isolated from over 230 strains of bacteria, and each of which recognize different recognition sequences. So naming of these enzymes, how do we name these enzymes? The naming of these enzymes, here the first letter of the name comes from the genus and the second two letters come from the species of the prokaryotic cell from which they were isolated. For example, this EcoRI comes from Escherichia coli RY13. So in EcoRI, the letter R is derived from the name of the strain, and Roman numbers following these names indicate the order in which the enzymes were isolated from that strain of the bacteria. So restriction enzymes belongs to a larger class of enzymes which are called as nucleases. These are further of two kinds, exonucleases and endonucleases. Exonucleases removes nucleotides from the ends of the DNA, whereas endonucleases, they make cuts at specific positions within the DNA, like here. And each restriction endonuclease functions by inspecting the length of the DNA sequence. Once it finds its specific recognition sequence, it will bind to the DNA and cut each of the two strands of the double helix at specific points in their sugar phosphate backbones. And each restriction endonuclease recognizes a specific palindromic nucleotide sequences in the DNA. So this is palindromic nucleotide sequence in the DNA. Now, what are palindromes? These are a group of letters that form the same words which read both forward and backward. Both forward and backward. They read the same. So here you can see the action of restriction enzymes. The enzyme cut both DNA strands at the same site. This is the vector DNA and this is the foreign DNA. EcoRI cuts the DNA between bases G and A only, and the sequence GAATTC is present in the DNA. So it cuts the sequence at GA place only. So this is EcoRI. It cuts the DNA at the same specific site. So EcoRI here, when it cuts the DNA, they become the sticky ends. So DNA fragments, they join at these sticky ends, and the joining is done with the help of the another enzyme, that is ligase. Now palindromes we were talking about. These are the group of letters that form the same words when read both forward and backward, like the word Malayalam. If you read it from this side or from this side, it read the same. So is the case with this sequence of the base pairs in the DNA, GAATTC. So they read same from both the sides, 5:3 or from 3:5 end. Now Word palindrome, whether the name word is read in both directions, the palindrome in DNA is a sequence of base pairs. Like I'm telling you that these read same on the both the strands when orientation of reading is kept the same. These sequences, they are same in the two strands, 5:3 direction, and that is also true if we read it in 3:5 direction. So restriction enzyme cut the strands of DNA a little away from the center of the palindrome sides, but between the same two bases on the opposite strand. This leaves single stranded portions at the end, and these are overhanging stretches called sticky ends, as we have seen in the previous figure. Now these are named so because they form hydrogen bonds with their complementary cut DNA counterparts, and this stickiness at the ends facilitates the action of the enzyme ligase. Now restriction endonucleases are used in genetic engineering to form recombinant molecules of DNA, which are composed of DNA from different sources or genome. When cut by the same restriction enzyme, the resultant DNA fragments have the same kind of sticky ends, and these can be joined together with the help of the ligase enzyme. You can see here in the picture, this is the foreign DNA and this is the vector DNA from the plasmid, and the same restriction enzyme is cutting both foreign DNA and vector DNA at specific points. So after cutting, they are joined together with the help of the ligase, joins foreign DNA to the plasmid, and then it is transferred to the required cell of the host, like here the bacterial cell E. coli here. So this is the diagrammatic representation of the recombinant DNA technology. Now normally, unless one cuts the vector and the source DNA with the same restriction enzyme, the recombinant vector molecule cannot be created. Now next is the separation and the isolation of the DNA fragments. Now the cutting of DNA by restriction endonuclease results in the fragments of DNA, and these fragments, they can be separated by using a technique that is called as gel electrophoresis. Now DNA fragments are negatively charged molecules, and they can be separated by forcing them to move towards the anode under an electric field through a medium or matrix. Nowadays the most commonly used matrix is agarose. Now agarose, which is a natural polymer which is extracted from seaweeds. Now the DNA fragments separate or resolve according to their size through sieving effect providing by the agarose gel. As the similar the fragment size, the farther it moves. Now these are the figures, and the gel sample is loaded here, and this is the apparatus which is used for gel electrophoresis, and this is the diagrammatic explanation of gel electrophoresis. Now separated DNA fragments, they can be visualized only after staining the DNA with a compound known as ethidium bromide. Then with the ultraviolet radiations, you cannot see pure DNA fragments in the visible light and without staining. So that is why staining is required, and ultraviolet radiations or exposure to ultraviolet radiations is required. We can see bright all orange colored bands of DNA in the ethidium bromide stains, like here these bands are seen. Now bright orange colored bands of DNA in the ethidium bromide stained gel is exposed to ultraviolet light, and the separated bands of DNA are cut out from the agarose gel and extracted from the gel piece. So this step is known as elution. This process is known as elution, and the DNA fragments purified in this DNA are used for constructing recombinant DNA by joining them with the cloning vectors. So this is how separation of and isolation of DNA fragments is done. Next topic will be starting with what are cloning vectors and how they are being used. Thank you for today.